So EC2 is nothing but EC2 instance or EC2 server. The server is nothing but anything, a computer with all the supporting softwares installed in it for our live production or for our development of any application or to work towards any project. So now let's understand what is EC2, why it is named as EC2. Okay, EC2 is nothing but it stands for ECC. Yeah, Usman, what's your doubt? Anything you can just yeah, one thing let me clarify. Uh, First thing, initially mute yourself. Any doubt it arrives, you can unmute yourself and then ask me, or you can text me the question, whatever it is, so that I'll clarify.
Sorry, I just join the meeting.
Usman will discuss that in some other session. I'll clarify all of those doubts. Now we are starting about EC2 and we will discuss this.
Like I have
Okay.
one more question. Can
So
we record
let's
this session?
understand what's EC2. As I said, it's a server. So first we'll understand some basic concepts about EC2. From today onwards, any doubt it arises, we'll discuss in the next class, or same day you clarify everything. Please do not be with some doubts in your mind. Okay, so it is named as EC2 just because it is EC2 is nothing but it stands for ECC, which is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. So ECC nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. So remember, okay, Elastic Compute Cloud. So it's nothing but a server in the cloud or a virtual machine in the cloud. That's what EC2 stands for. ECC. Okay, that too especially in AWS. And what about this? What's the speciality about this particular server? Since it is in the cloud, you can resize its capacity anytime you wanted. Capacity in the sense, in a physical machine, for about a physical server, whenever you talk about a physical server, if the server's capacity is not being enough, capacity in terms of its hardware, its RAM size, number of CPUs it is having. So all those things, whenever you wanted, you cannot change, or if you wanted to change, you probably put it down for some time till you extend it. But physically, in terms of extending its RAM size and all, it takes a lot of time. You have to put it down, you open the box and then fix everything, then you uh, install every single thing in that again and from the beginning, because you are changing the RAM itself, the configuration itself. You have to change it from the beginning, basic. But here in cloud, you can resize its capacity. It's nothing but, as I said again, increasing its RAM size, number of CPUs and the memory, the basic memory. It's like, the hardware, hard disk which comes along with that. So all that can be resized in a matter of no time, since a server can be established in this in a matter of no time. We will see very soon. We will see how soon we are going to we are able to launch a server in this in the cloud. And yeah, and we can create a server in a matter of 1 minute in this, with all the softwares installed, with all the supporting softwares in it. And it's not only that, EC2 servers are allowed to scale up and scale down in terms of its capacity. For example, capacity in the sense, in other terms, you have a certain data, I mean, like a certain space in it, like volume or like hard disk. And that hard disk, the space of that hard disk is not being enough for us, and you wanted to extend it. even in this scenario also, in a physical scenario, we have to, bring down that box and then extend. But in AWS, in cloud, we need not to bring down this box, but we can directly extend its memory or space. Okay, and all this done in a matter of very less time in AWS. Then let's understand the different type of EC2 servers. So I'm just going into EC2 and see what and all we will be understanding. As I said, it is really very important topic, EC2. So very much hello, has someone joined?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi. Anusha here.
yeah, Anusha, please tell me anything.
No. I just want to let you know that I have
Okay, not a problem, not a problem. We've just started the session. I don't think you're missing something. Okay. So we're talking
joined.
about EC2 server. EC2 server is nothing but EC2 instance in our this language, AWS language. It's just nothing but excuse me. So server is nothing but anything, any computer with all the supporting software. So this is what EC2 dashboard looks like. So everything, every service we are going to discuss will have its own dashboard. Okay. And one thing I need to discuss that Amazon is very popular. Um, it's just because it's extended data centers. Why I'm saying extended data centers, because it is captured. Amazon has captured entire globe by establishing its data centers in 10 different regions. So this is where you can see all the 10 different regions. So these are the 10 different regions. Region is nothing but understanding. It is just a geographic location where Amazon has built its data centers. A geographic location is, these are the uh, list of geographic locations. There are 10 here, and in each location, each region, Amazon has minimum of 2 data centers. So that's what you can see. But now we are currently in Tokyo region. Okay. And remember, once you create an account, okay, once you create an account, you can do or you can establish your infrastructure in this AWS account using AWS account in any of these 10 regions. You are allowed to do your activities or build anything in all these 10 regions. Okay, there is no limitation for you guys. So that's what the very flexible thing. How it is useful. You have your clients in US region or UK region, and you're working from India or some other APAC region. Okay, so you can still do that. You can establish that infrastructure in your client's location. Like for example, the client is sitting in UK, maybe in London. So you just choose either Frankfurt or Ireland, because these two are UK regions. Okay, EU. So you can establish that infrastructure there, wherein your client will be able to access without latency or with less latency. So it's the work is done. So that is the point. And as I said, each region has 2 to 3 minimum of data centers again. So data center is nothing but what? It's a combination of servers, databases, storage, and all, etc. together, known as you know a data center. So you see here now in AWS we call, okay, a data center as availability zone. So AZ's way, we say in a short way, we also say that it is a AZ. So we are now currently in Tokyo region. You can change whichever the region you wanted. If you want, you can just go to, okay, for example, if we trying to go Frankfurt, you can just click on here. So we'll be going to Frankfurt, EU Frankfurt region. Let's see how many data centers or how many availability zones do we have in this. Okay. So this is what, even here in this we have 2 availability zones, which is nothing but 2 data centers. One is EU Central 1A and EU Central 1B, and the region is that. And of course, its service health is nothing but all the data centers are working fine. The service health is pretty good. So we can do anything we wanted in this. Okay. Now you see during our course, I mean like during from EC2, we will be covering all these points, everything in this. So we will be discussing about different type of instances. Remember, instance is nothing but it is instance is nothing but a server, and a server is generally referred in AWS as EC2 instance. So whenever I say EC2 instance, remember that it is a server. So we discuss about number of different type of instances. These are the different type of instances available, and after once that is done, we will see how to launch an instance, which is nothing but how to create a server in cloud, and we see about images. That's nothing but AMIs. We will understand what you mean by an AMI. This AMIs will help us to create a server in less time, within no time, with all the softwares. AMI. For now, you understand AMI is nothing but Amazon's machine image. Okay, I'm just going back to some other region. This is looking really very fresh to me. So let me go to Sydney region. Yeah, and so after that images, we will be discussing about a certain type of storage here. We have two different type of storages in cloud in AWS. So that is S3, which we have seen during a demo or some time back. And apart from S3, we also have some other type of storage, that is EBS, Elastic Block Storage. So the Elastic Block Storage is nothing but it's like let me tell you, let me differentiate in between these things. Like EBS is nothing but okay, the elastic block storage, which is nothing but it is an additional volume, or it acts like an external hard disk, wherein to access the data in the external hard disk or a pen drive, you must require a server or a machine or a computer. Then only you will be able to access the data which is in it. If you don't have any computer, you will not be able to see what data resides in that. But whereas S3 storage is something like that, you upload all your files, you store all your files into that, and then you can just access that wherever you are using internet. As I said, it's just like Google Drive. You upload all your data into that, and then you access wherever you are from, whichever the location you are. So that is the little difference, you understand. So we will be discussing about the volumes and snapshots. This is where it is helpful for us to extend our servers capacity, increase our servers capacity in terms of its space. Then we speak something about networking and security. So it's of course pretty important, because you are building a server in a cloud, in a public cloud, that's Amazon AWS. So how do you safeguard your server if someone gets the access to that? So that's the biggest doubt people had when Amazon has come with its cloud services into the market. Since it is a public cloud, everybody started thinking that okay, since it is a public cloud, how do we safeguard our environment? How about if somebody gets the access to our environment? So it is always, they may even can damage anything up to any level. So that's where Amazon has come up with another solution, saying we have a high security, that is by providing VPC, virtual private cloud, so that you can isolate all your cloud resources. And not only that, we also have multiple layers of security. So if you have a server built in cloud, that can be safeguarded individually by these security groups. So we will understand what is a security group. We will see what is elastic IP. We will see what is key pair and all. These are the basic things we need to start with. So I'll start with what's a key pair. Then these two are really very important things for a high availability HA environment. So during my demo, I think I discussed something about rapid elasticity, so that whenever your site or website or your application, while accessing it, experiencing huge amount of load so that you wanted to spin up more instances towards your environment. So that's possible by these things. Okay, launch configuration and auto scaling group. So scaling is really very important with respect to load balance, and together these two work together. So for a high availability environment. So all these things we will discuss in detail one after the other. That's why I said it's a very huge topic. It's not only building a server in cloud, it is also understanding all these points. So don't worry, every single parameter will be discussed in detail. But my only request is, guys, please listen to me carefully, and anything, any doubt, whatever maybe the doubt it is, do not hesitate to clarify on the spot. Or while you practice, you get anything, any doubt, you just make a note of all those doubts and get clarified in the next session altogether. So that will really help you to become hands-on. Now let's begin with the basic things. That's key pair and security group. So first, initially, what's key pair? Okay, a key pair is nothing but it acts like a key when your server has a log kind of thing. Understand in this way. If your server has a log, and to open that you must require a key. So this is like this works as a key. Okay, so key pair works as a key. So what's key pair? Now let's see here. I have one key pair currently available for me. Now I'm going into that. You can just since this dashboard, as I said, every service has a dashboard. You are very comfortable, very flexible to go whatever you wanted to do. You can just create a key pair either by going here or by clicking here. Okay, so let's go here. Now as it has shown to you, so I'm currently having one running key pair here, not running, one key pair existing, and this doesn't charge you anything. So you can of course have key pairs created in your location, and once you create a key pair, that will be automatically downloaded into your local machine. So the key pair is the only thing that you have to own your own self. You have to have your own self, and only with that you will be able to log into the server which is launched or created in the AWS. Okay, now let's create, let me show you. Create a key pair. So here, this is where you just click and you need to name a key pair. Since it is in Sydney, I'll just name this as Ask EP. So it's nothing but it's not. Okay, then I'll just name this with Sid KP, nothing but Sydney KP key pair. Randomly I'm naming something. It's up to you. These naming conventions are up to you. You can just name in any way you want it. So the moment I say create, just notice it will be downloaded. So this is where it has got downloaded. That's what I'm saying. So the key pair is physical, and that should be maintained by we people, and we should have this key pair compulsory. And whenever you attach a key pair to a server, you must need to attach a key pair with an instance while we launch it, and while we log into it. Okay, while we log into that server, we need to authenticate, or we need to provide this key pair. So that is the first layer of security. Okay, without key pair, nobody can access your server. That's where your server is very, very safe. Okay, so I'll show you the key pair. So this is where the key pair is, and if you look at the extension of this key pair, okay, so you have Sydney KP, Sid KP dot PEM. The format is also to be noted. So PEM format, initially, the key pair will be downloaded in a .pem format that can also be seen here. And why do we need to worry about, or why do we need to focus on this PEM or the format? because now my machine currently, from which machine I'm conducting it, a session having an OS Windows, okay, Windows 8 currently I'm having in my machine. So fine, from a Windows machine, when you're trying to log in, okay, we can create a server or an instance of different OS in anywhere, whether it is physical or cloud. But in AWS, when you launch a Linux machine or a Unix machine, and that Unix machine, when you are trying to when you are trying to launch or log a Unix machine from a Windows OS computer. Okay, currently like how I'm doing, I'm dealing with this session having a Windows OS in my local machine, and I'm trying to launch a server of Unix in AWS, and that when I wanted to log in, this key pair extension should be something different. From Windows OS, if you are launching a Windows server in AWS, Windows instance in AWS, and trying to connect to that, then .pem format is enough for you. But from a Windows OS, when you are trying to connect to a Unix machine or trying to connect to a Unix instance, then this extension should be something different. What is that extension should be? It should be .ppk. Okay, understand? The key pairs should be with different extensions based on how you are launching it. I mean, how you are connecting to it. When you are connecting a Unix machine from a Windows OS box, then the key pair extension should be PPK format. And when you are connecting to a Windows machine from Windows OS machine, then it is enough. You can do that by a PEM format, keypair only. So how do we change its extension? As I said, as we have seen that initially when we are trying to download a keypair, create a keypair, it has downloaded by default with PEM format. And in order to convert, okay, in order to convert this PEM format key pair into PPK format key pair, we must require another little software which is a freeware available in Google itself that you can download, which is puttyzen.exe. We initially have putty. If you do not have putty software with you, you also please download this together. So these two things you please have in your local machine wherever you are going to practice. So putty is to connect Unix machine, and puttygen is the software which we use to convert our key pair from PEM format to PPK format. Clear? So now I have opened it by double clicking on it, and let's go. When you are trying to convert PEM format key pair to PPK format key pair, so this is the method to do. How do you do? First go load, because we already have downloaded, we already have a key pair, so let's go load on that key pair here. And key pairs are always encrypted. Remember, key pairs are always encrypted, and it will always show PPK format things only here. So you should go select all files here, then it will show you every single file you have. So I'm selecting .pem format. Okay, I'm saying open. First I have loaded and opened selected all files and loaded my PEM format key pair which I wanted to convert into PPK format. And you saw a successfully imported foreign key. To use this key with putty, you need to use save private key. So it is suggesting us what we need to do next. Say OK, and since it has suggested save private key, see, it's all encrypted. This is what the key pair which we have loaded in. Now click on save private key. Then it will ask us, are you sure you want to save this private key without pressing yes? Say yes. Then it will ask, so but please make sure the naming convention should be same as it is. So sit kb, take as it is, but change its extension manually by yourself, PPK. Okay. I manually changed myself its format from PEM to PPK that you need to enter by yourself. But the name of key pair should be same. SIDKP, SIDKP. Do not change that. Save. Okay. It has changed. You can see it here. So we have PEM format downloaded when we create, and now we also have PPK format. So that's all we need to understand about key pair. But remember, key pair is nothing but, now you can close this, not an issue. So key pair is nothing but what it is. It acts like a key to launch or connect to your server. Okay. So remember that for now. I'll show you how to use this key pair and how it safeguard this one. Now the next thing is security group. Okay. Now fine. We have launched an instance. Okay, we will see how to launch an instance because we need to understand. While understanding for the first time, like while we are launching it for the first time, we need to understand every single parameter, so it really takes time. But from next time onward, whenever we launch an instance, you just notice the time. It won't take more than a minute, and probably less than a minute you can launch an instance, a server. So first layer of security, while you launch, you should provide a key pair, and while you connect, you again have to provide the same key pair which you have provided while you launch it. So that is the first layer of security. Fine, you have provided the key pair and then launched it, and then with the same key pair you have connected to that instance. Fine, you have connected to that instance, but the second layer, security group. Security group is nothing but, understand, it's a virtual firewall. So let me just make a note of things. Key pair is nothing but instance, and excuse me, and when it is security group, security group is nothing but, okay, simply I'll just write it as SD. So understand, security group is nothing but, it acts like virtual firewall. So a virtual firewall safeguard a machine all the time. And what way it safeguard? Here in these security groups, okay, in this security group, we define inbound and outbound traffic. What do you mean by inbound and outbound? Let's go into the security group and check. So even for that, you can just do from anywhere. When you go back to dashboard, see now earlier I had only one key pair and now it has increased to two key pairs. So now currently I'm having two security groups. Okay, let's see how to create a security group. And as I said, we can define inbound and outbound traffic in this. So we'll understand what's inbound and outbound traffic. So I'll just go create. As I said, security group is nothing but it's a virtual firewall which safeguard our machine and which restrict or which provide the access to connect to these instances. So what way we need to connect, that can be defined here. Let's go create a security group. What I'll say, I'll provide a name. I'll just say same notation, SID security group. And description is up to you. You can give any description. For now I'm giving the same description, SID security group. And let this VPC by default. We will understand about VPC when we are talking about VPC in detail in networking concept. Okay, for now, let it be a default VPC because we will be having only one. That's only one. So I have given a name and a description. Of course, that's nothing but the same. Now you see, you have to send inbound and outbound traffic. What do you mean by inbound and outbound traffic? So inbound is nothing but, you will be setting whatever you set here will help you to connect to your instance, which is nothing but inbound traffic is nothing but how do you want it to connect to your instance. Okay, so you have to set that inbound port ranges so that you are allowed to connect to that using those ports only. Okay, so you see here, for that you need to add a rule, and you don't need to remember anything about ports and all, but you can just remember what TCP rule you have to add. For example, if you are trying to launch, okay, a Unix machine, how do we connect it to a Unix machine? A remote Unix machine? Do you remember? Do you have any idea? We always connect it to a Unix machine, a remote Unix machine, that may be Linux or anything, by using SSH putty session, putty or putty, whatever it is, whatever you people say. So this is what a putty session is useful for us to connect to a remote Unix machine. So what you do, you just launch it, give the IP address or DNS name, the host name, anything. Host name is nothing but the name of that server. We have to give over there, and the port number is SSH. So we always SSH is nothing but secure something. It will be so port number is 22 all the time. So this is how we connect to a remote Unix machine using putty session. So SSH. That's what I've given SSH. The moment I've selected SSH, the protocol is TCP, and port range is selected by default 22. And how do you connect? Whom you are allowing to connect or launch your instance? So it is using anywhere so that everybody can connect to your server, or having this server's details, or you wanted your own self to log in, so it will take your IP, or you wanted anybody custom, it's nothing but you yourself manually wanted to provide excuse me, anybody's IP address, that's nothing but customized things so that those respective people only can access. So for now, since it is our practice and understanding, we are trying to learn something, so I'll just keep it anyway so that anybody can access. But for a security reason, it will not suggest you to take anywhere. It's nothing but every single IP. When it mentions 0.0.0.0/0 will allow you to connect from any IP address from anywhere and by anybody. But we need to test, we need to understand things. I'm just keeping things very simple like that. So I'm adding that. And outbound, we need not to set any outbound. It's because the outbound traffic is by default is set for all the ports. You see, for all the traffic and all the protocols, port range from 0 to so much, and destination, it is anywhere to anything. It's nothing but inbound will allow you to connect to your instance, and outbound will allow you to connect to the external world from your instance to your instance, from your instance. Understand the little difference. So to your instance is nothing but when you're trying to connect to your machine or your instance, we need to set inbound. So based on the inbound traffic we set, you will be able to connect. Now since we have given port number 22, you will always be able to connect to your instance using only port number 22. If you are trying to connect from another way, it will not allow you to do that. Okay, and this port number 22 will help you to connect to a Unix machine only. If you are launching or if you are creating a Windows machine, you will not be able to connect. How do we connect a Windows machine? Can anybody? We always MSTSC do it, RDP it. Remember? So we RDP a remote Windows machine, so that needs to be selected, RDP. So the RDP port name is this, port range is this, then everything will be taken anywhere. So this is how you connect it to a Windows. Don't worry, I'll show you how to launch an instance and how to connect to it. Everything will be seen very clearly. Now for now I'm just taking only port number 22. Okay, and outbound from your machine when you wanted to connect to the external world. Okay, you are allowed to do and you are allowed to communicate with anybody from any port it is. So that's why by defaultly it is set to connect anything. So for now you understand this. We will speak something more about security group little later. Maybe in a couple of sessions later we will see that. So this is, but now you understand inbound is to connect to your server or instance, and outbound is to connect external world from your server. So I'm saving it. Yes. So this is all about security group. Now we have another security group. So this is Sydney, group name Sydney SG, and description is Sydney SG. You can also tag it. So how do you tag? The same thing I'm taking. So everything can be tagged in our this one. Now we have understood what is key pair. That's the first layer of security for our server. It acts like a key, a private key, which is encrypted by default and which must be provided while you connect it to an instance. And another layer of security is nothing but it's a virtual firewall. It acts like a virtual firewall, that is security group. Now let's go to dashboard. You will see three security groups. Prior to that we had only two security groups. Now we have three security groups. And every region will have a default VPC, so we will do things in that default VPC because VPC will safeguard our environment, whatever we create with that different IP address ranges. So we will understand things really very clearly. Now let's see different type of instances based on revenue or pricing. Okay, based on revenue or pricing, we have three different type of instances, which is nothing but servers. So what are those three different type of servers? So based on revenue, we have three different type of, as I said, instances. That's first one is on demand. Okay, so on demand instances. Then second one, let me list out all of them. Then I'll discuss about these things individually. Then reserved instances, then spot instances. So these are the three different type of instances we have in our AWS. So let's understand what's on demand. Now you have an infrastructure created and you wanted some servers dedicatedly. Okay, you wanted some servers dedicatedly. In that situation, what do? You go for reserved instances, or else first thing, if you go for an on demand, okay, you have some work, to be performed or to do, and when you wanted to perform that particular activity, still you require a server. So you go and demand for a number of servers or a server, a single server that will be provided to you. If you are a cloud admin, you can directly create by your own self. And how long you use it, so much of hours, couple of hours or for a session, you use it, and once you are done, you terminate it. So that you are charged, okay, when it is on demand, you are charged for the amount of time this instance is utilized or used. Okay, so the pricing can be seen by you. Now currently it's like this. EC2 pricing. There are different type of EC2s also, EC2 instances also we will be having. So these are the different type of instances. For a T2 micro, like we have a number of instances. So for a free tier, we are eligible to have T2 micro always. This is what the type of instance we are allowed to have every time. So these are the charges based on per hour. In it is given, since Amazon is US based company, so all the revenue or all the prices given in terms of dollars. So these are the pricing. So every hour for an on-demand instance, it is charged. If you just generally take M4 large instance, it is having two CPUs, okay, having 8 GB of RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM, EBS elastic block storage only, and it will charge you dollars 0.12 per hour, which is nothing but 12 cents per hour. So this is what. So with 12 cents per hour, you can, which is lesser than a dollar, you can perform your work. See, for example, you have a code to be executed, or an application is to be tested. So what do? You go take an on-demand server and perform your work. For example, it is taking 3 hours. So 3 hours is nothing but what? 3.3 into 12, which is 36 cents. Still, it's lesser than a dollar. So you pay only so much. See how cheap it is, within how less amount you can just perform your work. So that's what an on-demand uh, instance use is. So you demand, you ask for it, you are provided, take it, use your work, you perform your work. Once you are done with that, say yes, we are done, and that can be terminated. Pay only for the amount of time you use it. But you have an organization, and that organization dedicatedly need a server. You cannot create a server every day and terminate it every day while you go. That is really not so comfortable, right? So what you wanted to do, you wanted to have a server dedicatedly for you. In that situation, we go for reserved instances. So reserved instances are quoted by you here. This is where you ask for reserved instances. Instances, a normal instance is always an on-demand instance, whichever we create. And reserved instances will be taken here. Reserved instances is what you notify Amazon saying that I wanted so many servers dedicatedly for me. So Amazon says, okay, since and for a couple of years or for about a year, since you are taking an instance for such a huge time, maybe 1 year or more than 1 year, couple of years, then Amazon says, since you are going to use a server or an instance for so much of time, we ourselves will provide so much of discount. Maybe 50% or 40% of discount is provided before you ask, without your a request. It will be directly provided by Amazon itself, so that you can use it very comfortably, dedicatedly for your environment. And those instances will be always with you for your use, for your convenience. Whenever you want it, you can just connect to that and then utilize. So that's what the use of reserved instances, which are dedicatedly assigned to you. And when it comes to price, it will be even more cheaper, but only the thing is you need to use it for a quite long time, maybe minimum of 1 year. But not an issue. The tremendous or enormous uh, discounts are provided for you know uh, these reserved instances. Then spot instance. What do you mean by spot instance? Okay, spot instance is nothing but, okay, an instance whenever, okay, for example, you have uh, a huge data to be tested, and you wanted a machine directly ready-madely available. Okay, but you are very much worried about your revenue or your budget. In this situation, what you can do is you can bid with Amazon. You can bid with. Now we just currently have seen for this instance it is 12 cents per hour. Okay, but your budget is not supporting so much because you need to test it in a very high way. So you bid with Amazon saying I will pay only 10 cents per hour. Okay, if you just bid with Amazon saying I will pay only 10 cents per hour, it's just like trading with Amazon, bidding with Amazon. Then Amazon will say, okay, fine, we will provide a server to you, an instance to you for your required rate only. But currently, we are running with 12 cents per hour charge. When it comes down to your price, we will certainly provide. That's what Amazon says. So you have to wait till then. Once, fortunately or unfortunately, if that 12 cents per hour reduces to certain time, sorry, certain price, maybe 8 cents per hour. Okay, 8 cents per hour, understand this way. Amazon says, okay boss, you have quoted for 10 cents per hour, but current market price is going for 8 cents per hour only. So you better take your instance for 8 cents per hour only. It is not that you have bidded for 10 cents per hour so that we are providing for 10 cents per hour, though it is running 8 cents. So Amazon is really fair enough that it will provide you about the current running price, that 8 cents per hour only. So you will be even more happy. But how long you will be able to use that? Because it is, it's just like stock market. It will, the prices will, changes all the time, go up and come down. So you are allowed to use that instance till your instance price goes up to 10 cents per hour. What if it goes beyond that, maybe 11 cents per hour? Then Amazon will terminate that instance from, your location. Then it notifies you saying the price has increased than your bidding price, so that we are terminating it. So that's how it actually works. And now let's understand in another way. For example, you have started, it's 8:30 in India, IST. So you have started around 9 a.m. Okay, with this spot instance and started working on that. You worked till 10:20 a.m. So 2 hours, sorry, 1 hour 20 minutes of time you worked on that, and you're done with your work. You said, okay, terminate. Though you are, terminating your instance in the middle of hour, that is 1 hour 20 minutes. You used the second hour, you used only 20 minutes, but still Amazon will charge you for 1 year, 1 hour. That is nothing but, for example, 8 cents in the market price, then 8 plus 8, 16 cents will be your charge. Okay, in another words, for example, okay, the current market price is going 10 cents. Okay, you are provided with an instance. You worked for 1 hour 50 minutes. Let's understand this way. 10 till started at 9 a.m. and works till 9. Okay, you are still working. You're still working. 9:59 it is. For example, 9:59. Sorry, 10:50 hours. 10:50 a.m. Automatically, the price of that instance has increased to 11 cents, or maybe in any other reason. If Amazon terminate that instance, fortunately or unfortunately, then for that incompleted hour, Amazon will not charge you because they are terminating from their end. It's their mistake. You are not doing it by yourself manually. Since they are doing it for that incompleted hour, Amazon will not charge. So though you used an instance for 1 hour 50 minutes, you are charged only for 1 hour, a complete hour which is used. Are you clear? So that's nothing but only 10 cents if it is current market price. You are charged only for that. So that's about spot instance. So these are the three different type of instances we have. Okay, with respect to revenue or pricing models. So EC2 instances we say. So these are the different things, and apart from that we do have some different type of instances based on its configuration, number of CPUs and its RAM size and all and all. So that we will be seeing while we are going to launch this instance. But now we'll understand something more. Okay, let's try to launch an instance. I'm just going to launch. You can just launch here clicking on this. So let's see how an instance is launched, what and all the parameters we need to understand. Okay, remember whenever we are launching, it will be by default on-demand instance. So I always have been telling you that a physical server will probably take a couple of days, a week's time to configure it, or maybe couple of maybe a session if it is a normal laptop. But in AWS, we can launch a machine in a matter of minutes or maybe lesser than a minute. You can just launch a server with all the softwares installed in it. How is that possible? That's possible by AMI, Amazon Machine Image. Okay, so it's possible by this Amazon Machine Image. So a machine image is nothing but, understand this way, AMI is nothing but Amazon Machine Image, which is nothing but a pre-configured bundled software. Okay, it will provide you pre-configured bundled software. Once you select this, while you launch your instance, what and all the softwares this AMI is configured with or having with will all be installed in it ready-madely. So these are the different AMIs we have so far. Currently, we have 22 AMIs here. Okay, so I mean 22 AMIs. So all these 22 AMIs can be used by you to launch your instance. So you see, first thing, Amazon Linux AMI. So what all the softwares we have, since it is Linux, we first have the OS Linux. Okay, that's Amazon's Linux. And apart from that, what and all we have, you see, it's an EBS packed. So instances are another way. Instance backed store instances. So EBS backed instances and instance backed instances. So we will understand that little later, maybe next session. Don't worry. And what software does it have? Let's see here. It is having AWS command line tools, Python, Ruby, Perl, and Java. Apart from that, it's a repository include Docker, PHP, MySQL, PostgreSQL. All these are installed by default. You need not to install all these things again and again. So when you select this, your instance will have Amazon Linux OS with all these softwares installed by default. So you can choose what OS you wanted to install in your, you wanted Red Hat, you want SUSE Linux, you wanted Ubuntu server, or you wanted a Windows server. Okay, Windows 2012 R2 based server. Okay, then you wanted, you see, we have different with SQL Express, SQL Server Web, SQL Server Standard. So different AMIs you have. So you are allowed to choose anything you wanted in your case. Okay, so that is the point. This AMI will help us to, you know, launch an instance with all the softwares and OS installed in it within no time. But remember dear, you always have to choose free tier eligible AMIs only. So for that, you can just go, excuse me. So you can select free tier only, because we always perform things with free tier account, so we should not pay anything. For that reason, you always select free tier eligible. What and all are eligible for your free tier, select only that. And we always take go with Amazon Linux only, because that will be very much comfortable, because all the tools are installed in it. So go select. So this is what. Next, okay. After once that is done, your AMI is selected, then we need to go for the different type of instances. So these are the different type of instances we have based on their configuration. So far we have discussed type of instances based on the pricing or revenue model. So now these are the different type of instances excuse me, based on their configuration. Now, let's see here. So it is first T2, okay, T2 instances. This is what eligible for us. This is the only type of instance which is eligible for us, T2 micro. So you always have to select T2 micro instance only while you practice with free tier account. Of course, if you do not bother to pay any charge, then you are allowed to take any type of server or any type of instance, but you do not want it to pay, then better you always choose the default one that is eligible for free tier, and you see for how long you can use this. A micro instance are eligible for AWS free tier usage for the first 12 months following your AWS sign up date. You get up to 750 hours of micro instances each month. So if you calculate 24 hours per day and 24 into 31, if you calculate, that will goes to 744 hours. Even if you use it for 31 days, okay, probably we can say 30 days per a month. So even if you take 30 days per a month, it will be 720 hours. So you can still use a server, a T2 micro server round the clock, which is nothing but 24 bar 7, and continuously for about a year. You are very comfortable. You will be using that without paying any single price. Excuse me. Sorry for the disturbance. So that's the point. You can use that, but be careful. It's not that you are allowed to use. Unfortunately or fortunately, if you forget something and then use it in a large way, then you are charged unnecessarily. So never keep anything. Anything you do, you practice. End of the day, once you are done with your lab or practice, delete everything, make it scratch like how you have your account day one or in a first minute. So that's what. Now let's understand different type of instances. So T2 is nothing but let's understand we have different types here. T2 is nothing but very cheap general purpose instances. You can see here low moderate the network performance. So it is very cheap general purpose. The family is general purpose. Excuse me. The next is M type. Okay, every type has another layer, I mean another type again, different levels like large, extra large, 2 extra, 4 extra, 10 extra, something like that. So next is M4 or M3, both M4 or M3 is nothing but main choice. The abbreviation is that main choice general purpose. So you can just use that main choice. You can be used these instances as a main choice usually for our environments or for our organizations, but still it is a family of general purpose only, but its configuration will be little higher than cheap general purpose. That's T2. Then goes to C type, that's C4 or C3. Okay, C is nothing but compute. The family is compute optimized. So compute is nothing but what? For gaming purpose, not exactly gaming purpose. You wanted to perform something related with so much of RAM and all. So compute purpose is used. You wanted, you can just place here. Compute optimized instance have higher ratio of vCPUs. So virtual CPUs to memory than other families. You see, the maximum is compute optimized is C4 8 extra large. It is having 36 CPUs and its RAM is of 60 GB RAM. And we still have a little more higher than that. So compute instances, compute family. Then we have um, G-type instances, which is GPU graphic instances. So anything you wanted graphic designs and all, you use these graphic instances. G-type, the families, GPU instances. Then you wanted higher memory, higher throughput, okay, higher performance. We go with R-type instance, which is nothing but RAM, memory optimized. So RAM, it stands for see, excuse me. So the maximum is 32 CPUs, and it is having 244 GB of RAM with that. You see how great or how maximum, how huge memory it is having with its CPUs. Now we are currently dealing with 4 GB or 8 GB RAM laptops for a practice purpose. But you see, imagine 244 gigabytes of RAM, how speed it can be, how faster it can be. So when you wanted higher performance machine, you can go with R-type instances. Then uh, one sec, let me attend this call. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so that's for the R type RAM. The next is, bear with me another couple of minutes. I'm going to end up the session for today. After once we are done with these different type of instances, and then next is D type. Okay, so D type is nothing but what it is generally for density and storage optimized. If you wanted higher storage, you see the storage is 10 gigabytes and all. That storage will be, and you can have an additional storage attached to that. You can just do that. Then next is I-type. Okay, even that also comes under into storage only, but it is for throughput, input and output operations per second, IOPS. If you wanted more IOPS, then you will be going to I-type instance. So these are the different type of instances. You don't need to remember all these things, but just have an idea based on what and all the different type of instances we have, and we can utilize. We can launch an instance with. Okay, so these are the things I would like to discuss for today. Excuse me. So the remaining parameters, remaining tabs we will understand. So to launch an instance, we need to understand all these tabs. The first six, the seventh one is just reviewing, so not an issue. So till sixth tab, we need to understand. We have completed first and second, but don't worry. We have seen something else about security group and key pair. Remember that what way we are doing. We just did converted a key pair from PEM format to PPK format, and what way we set our inbound and outbound traffic. By default, whenever you create a security group, it will be a plain security group without any inbound. You are not allowed to connect to an instance by any way when a security group is first created. So you have to set inbound traffic, what way you want it to connect it to your instance. And outbound, by default, it is allowed to connect to everything from your instance. So that's the security group. It's a firewall for your machine, for your instance created. Then we have seen different type of instances. So let's continue tomorrow from the rest, from configuring instances and storage, adding storage, tagging and all those things we will see later on in the next session. So you have anything to be clarified, you can ask me. If not, we'll end up the session for today.
Yeah, sir. Can we record the session, sir?
Pardon?
Can we record the classes?
One sec. I could not able to hear you because your voice is little low.
Okay. Uh, I'm asking that can we record the classes?
Yeah. I have recorded this session, not an issue. I'll just share it with you. You can, if you wanted, you can also do it from your end. Not an issue.
Okay.
That can be done.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thing? Yeah. And tell me, could you able to understand things? Hope I could make sense. Uh, listen.
Sir, one more thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is, do we have class on weekends like Saturday and Sunday?
That our institute will communicate with you. I have no problem to conduct a class tomorrow. Anything,
Okay.
our institute people will communicate with you. Okay.
Okay.
If there is a class that will be at the same time 7:30 a.m. in the morning in IST.
Okay.
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 So
Okay.
that will be communicated. Usually Sundays we don't have any class, but Saturdays it is based on our requirement.
Yeah. Okay.
So anything it will be communicated well in advance.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. Anything else? So today we have not seen anything so much practically. I've just discussed something about instances theoretically, the different type of instances and all. But anything, it's my request. Anything we understand or we discuss, anything we practically do, I suggest you to do day by day, clarify things very clearly, and become hands-on. And any doubt, any sort of doubt, whether it is small or large, there is no certain levels of doubts, because a doubt is a doubt. So any sort of doubt it is, get it clarified on the spot, and then please be sure and thorough with the topics.
Sir, one more thing. Do you help in getting a certification?
Yeah, I'll discuss the things in terms of a certification, and in terms of attending or clearing interviews and all. And it's not only that, I'll also discuss things in real time, whatever the issues I face in my real time, my work, while I work. So those things also can be discussed with that. So not to worry. I'll just give you some questions in between, or I'll ask you some questions. Make a note of those things. So
Okay.
that will help you to clear your certification.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anything?
That's it. From my end, that's it, sir.
Okay. Anybody else, dear? If you are clear, I'll end up the session for today. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine. Okay. Thank you then. Thank you. We'll catch up in the next class.
Yeah.
Yeah.